It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Being recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationship with the University of Miami.
Patton, another good block, and Toretto lays it out. Touchdown, Miami.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
What the heck is that?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good, man. Miami won. We beat Clemson, baby. I'm feeling good in the house. What's up, Gary?
What's up, LT? Yeah, it was nice to get that victory. You know, no doubt about it. We'd like to welcome everybody to a new edition of the Lamar Thomas Show. He's LT, of course. I'm Gary, and very excited to be here after a 28-20 overtime win over Clemson, a team that had Miami's number for so many years. So many things, Lamar, that we can unwrap about that game, and we will. But first, you know, we have to give a few shout outs here and tell everybody that the Lamar Thomas Show is presented by Caneswear, where Lamar is sitting tonight. Caneswear is the largest Miami Hurricane store that's ever been created there at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Just a phenomenal place to go if you're a Canes fan and you want to load up on gear. And, you know, they've got a little bit of everything there. Hats that Lamar's wearing tonight, T-shirts, polos, hoodies, just about anything you can imagine. They'll even dress up your pet if you want. So we'll talk a little bit more about Caneswear later in the show. But on your way to the Virginia game, if you're in town, stop at Caneswear, check them out. Don't think you will be sorry that you did that. Tonight's show also sponsored by Williamson Cadillac, the dealership where Lamar goes to buy all of his automobiles. Lamar walks through the door at Williamson Cadillac. Everybody just smiles. And it's not because he's a handsome guy. They know he's coming there to spend some of his hard-earned money on a brand new car. And so we highly recommend you guys go to Williamson Cadillac. Also sponsored by the Florida Beach Bowl. Do we get to reveal who's starting the Florida Beach Bowl tonight, LT?
Next week. He
Next
said
week.
he's good to go next week.
Well, that game's coming to Drive Pink Stadium this December. It's a bowl game for historically black colleges and the law firm of Ratson and Faxadomo. And hopefully you never need them, but if you do, you can get aggressive representation from skilled criminal lawyers there, and they'll get you out of trouble. Lamar guarantees it. And I guess we got to give I see they must have, somebody gave Lamar a sub tonight, I can tell. That's Spot a sub shop. What you got there? What kind of sub?
You know, the usual ham and cheese. Sorry, Dad.
Mom, yeah, it's your mom mostly. She's gonna be really upset with
Mom,
you.
Dad.
But
That's pretty good.
But LT, so like where do we begin? I mean, my God, man, like so many heroes in that game, so many guys step up, and you know, you had a true freshman suddenly thrust in as the starting quarterback. They babied him. No arguments. There were times that I know I was upstairs in the press box, like, oh my God, like they're going to lose this game because they're being too conservative. And and then in the second half, they started letting them roll a little bit more, and he didn't disappoint. So Shannon Dawson gave him a little bit more, and by the fourth quarter, he was hitting on everything he was asked to do, and just an amazing performance by young Emory Williams. You know, we'll talk about that. Brashard Smith continuing. They needed him to step up the other night. They were a little light on playmakers in the backfield. And I think he got 11 touches in the game after, you know, getting anywhere from 2 to 5 in previous games. And I would be jumping up and down and screaming about him, Lamar, if he didn't fumble the ball after that 80-yard run. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Got to talk about the defense, guys like Leonard Taylor stepping up. I mean, when that guy decides he wants to be a college football player, he's pretty damn good. He just, in my opinion, doesn't do it anywhere close to often enough. So, you know, talk a little bit about that. We got to talk about Ruben Bain, obviously, and the way he's playing. So, so much to unwrap. We can go on and on and on, but let's just start with the overall big picture. How much did beating Clemson mean to this Miami football program?
Well, I think winning this ball game was big because we needed it. You know, after Georgia Tech, obviously North Carolina, couldn't go 0-3, not in those 3 weeks together. So this was a big win for Miami. You know, it's not the Clemson team that has been down here before, or that we've gone up there that's challenged for the ACC championship. Still a good Clemson team because of the program, but it kind of reminds me of when teams beat Miami, they're beating the program, not the team. You know, but nevertheless, we got the win because it was an important win for our program, and especially this team and what they're trying to that momentum that we desperately needed going into this week. So it was a big win. It was a huge win.
And, you know, we talked about some of the breaks that they got. And, you know, breaks tend to, you hope that they even themselves out. You know, I mean, things did not go Miami's way in the North Carolina game, obviously.
Yes.
They didn't go Miami's way against Georgia Tech.
Yes.
They went Miami's way against Clemson. Finally. Yes. And you're not going to apologize for it by any stretch of the imagination. You know, you're not going to apologize for recovering a fumble in the end zone as opposed to that ending up with 0 points
twice.
LT, like, as a football player, a football coach, when things go against you the way they were going for a few weeks there from Miami, I guess you're almost hoping, like, man, something's got to change. It can't continue like this.
Yeah, you're looking for any little thing that can when it's all going bad and the ball is bouncing away from you, where your guy's running towards the end zone, he can pick it up, scoop it up, and all of a sudden they recover it. I mean, these type of things happen, but finally the ball started bouncing our way. You talk about the fumble in the end zone, one for Clemson, where they were going in to score, fumbles. James Williams, I think, recovered it. Then you had the fumble where Brashard breaks through the hole. He's running. Receiver didn't finish his block. The guy comes from behind, strips the ball, but we were able to recover it in the end zone. I really wish that guy would have been there for me in the Sugar Bowl like that, but it didn't happen that way. But anyway, those type of balls. I mean, the ball just bounced a different way, and it started bouncing our way in that game, and we were able to get some breaks and some things that happened during that game that you say, hey, it was just our turn. It was just our turn. Now, that safety that should have been called, that wasn't right. Okay, there was a face mask penalty early in the game where I think Brashard broke something. Maybe somebody broke through the hole. They didn't call that one, but we were able to get lucky at the end of the game where Clemson's quarterback decided to do his own thing and didn't give it to probably their best player on the field, Shipley, and he decided to do his own thing, and we were able to get the sack and win the ball game.
What did you think about Dabo? I know you and Dabo are tight. I saw you guys. I saw you guys out there yakking it up on the field before the game. You and Dabo, and but what did you think of Dabo throwing his quarterback under the bus by telling everybody that was supposed to be a running play? He wasn't supposed to keep it.
You know, everybody does things differently. You know, I think we've all come to the agreement that Dabo is on Dabo's page, and you know, you either like him or you don't. And one thing I can say about him, he's gonna tell it like it is, whether you like it or not. When I saw it, I was like, "Ooh!" But he's telling the truth. I mean, if you look at that play, if he gives that ball off, Shipley scores. There's no doubt about it. But I know what the quarterback saw. He saw the defensive end go down, but what he didn't account for, Corey Flagg did his job and replaced, you know, and he was there for to force him out of bounds. So, you know, it's just one of those things. And again, you either love Dabo or you hate him. And I'm sure some people said, "Oh, I hate him now," but you gotta his honesty, man. He it doesn't matter who you are, he's gonna tell the truth.
All right, so you get to the stadium, LT.
Yes.
And you hear that Tyler Van Dyke is not starting.
Yes.
What goes through your mind?
Okay, we got the young buck in. I knew it was going to be a quarterback protected game plan. Okay, I knew it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be that protected, but it worked out in our favor. You know, you think about it, it was a vanilla game plan, get the ball in those guys' hands quickly, screen pass. I mean, we tried every screen pass in the book. You know, I saw some screen passes that worked, some that didn't. You know, I think our timing was a little off on some of those screen passes, getting those offensive linemen out there. Or Clemson kind of figured out that we were going to run some screens, so they were able to react a lot faster than probably what we thought. And you know, and you knew with 1:37 on the clock, after seeing the way they basically said, "Hey, we're going to play for overtime," that it was a quarterback protected game plan. Because with 1:37 on the clock, all my years in Miami, we ain't sitting on it, dog. We going for it. We're trying to get it downfield as quickly as possible to put points on the board. But you know, whether it was Gino Toretta being a freshman or not, but Mario had a game plan. They executed it. They believed in their defense, and they made plays on offense when they had to late in the game to preserve the victory.
I know I'm probably putting you a little on the spot here, but in asking this question, but I'll flat out, I'll go first, and I'll say that my initial thought when they sat on that at the end of regulation was, oh my God, what are they doing? What is Mario doing? He is risking everything on overtime. And I understand what the reaction of the fan base would have been if they lose that game in overtime. It would have been as bad or worse than what we got after Georgia Tech. People would have been lighting Mario Cristobal up, fair or unfair. I understand the thinking. I understand, especially now when I reflect on it after the fact. I understand the thinking. The explanations after the game were very sound. They were concerned about blitz packages that Clemson brings to the table. They were concerned about Emory Williams not being ready for those. They were concerned about strip sacks. They were concerned about interceptions. They did not want to give the game away on a turnover.
Or better yet, put that freshman quarterback in a in a situation that TVD was in a couple of years ago, where we sat on the ball and went for a field goal. We dunked it off the goalpost, and the next week we come back and it's that same decision, and he throws an interception. So Mario's it's a bad situation either way. But the main point is we won the game, and his decisions, whatever they were, we were able to win the ball game. And regardless of whatever the decision it was, I mean, because it could have gone either way. If we go down there and he throws a pick, he's in trouble. We fumble, he's in trouble. He did what he thought was the best interest of his team. He trusted his defense and he trusted his offense. And I think for those kids, that's big for them to know that the head coach trusts you.
Trust them.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you have time to process it, listen to the explanations, realize that there was some soundness to some of that, I think it allows you to look at it a little differently. But live that night, I mean, the emotions were running crazy. Like, you're like, oh my God. And all I could think of is, man, if this game doesn't end in a W, like, honestly, like, what am I going to do about the message boards at CaneSport.com? Because
but it did, and we won.
Yeah. So let's bring in the voice of the fan here, Bruce Warner, who I know was very emotional at that moment himself, knowing Bruce. And Bruce, what was going through your mind at that moment in time on Saturday night?
Well, it wasn't just my mind. I was sitting with Lamar in the players' suite up there, and I was surrounded, Mark and Steven and a bunch of other guys, and they were screaming, throw the damn ball. But this guy, Mayday Kane, is right. We were down 17-7. The offensive line dominated their Clemson's defense, and they were running and running and running. So you know what? I guess Mario figures we can get 6 or 7 yards on these runs, which they were getting at. And then why pass the ball? So they made it 17-14, and then they went for the tie. They got into overtime. Now, was I thrilled about it? No, but in retrospect, he did the right thing. I'm not sitting here at the game watching them just run 6 yards and 8 yards. That offensive line was incredible in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Remember, the touchdown they got in overtime was a run by A.J. Allen. It wasn't a pass. So you know what? He knows what he's doing. And the whole game plan of being conservative, they wanted to stay in the game for as long as they could. And they did. Now, yeah, we had some breaks. That, as LT said, the quarterback just changing the play on his own. And he said in the postgame, I did that against a different team, Wake Forest, earlier in the year, and he got away with it. I don't know if he got yelled at, but he tried it again. He thought, you know what, I saw the lineman check down. I knew that I could make it around the edge, but he didn't count on 11. Yeah, he didn't figure he was going to get him. And it was either one of those two guys, either a touchdown or he makes the play. He made the play. It was awesome. So you got to give credit to the offensive line, obviously. And my other thought was going back to last week when Gary said we should be 5-1. We're 5-2. I get it, but I think in his mind and now in my mind as a fan, we really are 6-1 in theory, and that's not bad. And we could have possibly beaten North Carolina because this goes back to last year with Middle Tennessee State. So the receiver Tez Walker, who already had 2 touchdowns, does a post against Jaden Davis, and there's no over the top help. I thought the coaches should have had somebody over the top on him once he scored the other 2 touchdowns. Don't let him beat you like that, and they did. So I'm looking at it as a fan, even though I'm not happy that they're 5-2. This team is completely different, and anybody that sits there and bitches and complains is crazy. We already won 5 games this year. That's what we won all last year. So what are you bitching about? Let him do his thing. Now, if we lose to Virginia, who just beat North Carolina on the road, that's another story. But I'm expecting to win this game. But you have to be happy what's going on here. They're a legitimately very top 3 ACC team, I think.
All right, LT. So you're a wide receiver. You're a wide receiver coach. You're celebrating like crazy when you see one of your wide receiver guys get in there, play a little running back. bust out for 80 yards and showing that he is an all-purpose player, a specialist, and can do a little bit of everything. Then he gets stripped of the ball before he crosses the goal line, and that drives me out of my mind. But I'd be curious to know your take on the emergence of Brashard Smith as a playmaker who's getting a little bit more opportunity. B, the reason he had it in the past was because you couldn't rely on him. He would drop passes and make mistakes, and he had been doing better the last few weeks, so they expanded his number of touches, and he dropped. Quite frankly, he dropped the ball. I want to know if that bothered you as much as it bothered me, and just your overall impressions of Brashard Smith. Well,
I think it's night and day from last year. If I remember right. It's Texas A&M, right?
Dropped that pass in the fourth quarter. Yes. That was a big play.
And I think from that point on, that kid has really grown up. And I think, I got to give a lot of credit to the receiver coach, Kevin Beard. I think he's doing an outstanding job. Sometimes as a receiver coach, not sometimes, all the time, you're a psychologist too. You have to pump these guys up and let them know that they're pretty damn good, but not too damn good, and because you want them to continue to work. And I think he's done a hell of a job. I give kudos to him. It's definitely a 180. I think this kid is emerging as a playmaker. You put the ball in his hands. You saw what he was able to do with the long run, touchdown, obviously. And I talked to you earlier tonight about my as a receiver coach, we say long runs happen because of us. Long touchdown runs happen because of us. And what I mean by that, if we do our job and block our guy, it's a long touchdown run. If we don't do our job and the guy makes a tackle, that's a long run. And you don't want to be that guy. And it almost happened to George, because his guy made the tackle, but he was able to recover the fumble. If he stays on him a little bit longer, finishes his block, Brashard scores easy. But, we were able to, the ball bounced our way, and we were able to get that recovery for the touchdown. The guy that was very impressive to me was number 4. I mean, what Miami's running game was able to do was they were able to get Clemson in a situation where they had everybody in the box and they still were running the ball. Number 25, the safety was a free hitter, made a lot of tackles, but he missed some. And they were able to spring a lot of plays off, but they kept running it. And what that did was force Clemson into one-on-one coverage type situations where it wasn't no man free, it wasn't a zone, it was straight man to man. And because they do have some really good corners and they were on the island, number 4 and George were able to capitalize. I was very impressed with, Young had that drop earlier where he totally forgot where the defender was. He did not think you have to know where the defender is as you go to tuck the ball. He didn't. The guy made a great strip knockdown, but after that he wore him out. Mm-hmm. That 6'5" frame, he wore him out. That guy is probably going to be a first-round pick. He's about 6'3". I saw him in warm-ups. I was like, Jesus, I'm glad I don't have to go against that dude. But he wore him out. And kudos to Kevin Beard and what he's been able to do with those receivers. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and he has them playing pretty damn good right now.
Pretty much every guy, Restrepo, George, yes. Colby Young, Brashard Smith, they're all better.
Yes. I talked to Restrepo. I called him up and told him, hey, man, out of respect, it was a respect thing. You didn't get the ball, but they were looking to make sure they took you out the game. And sometimes, man, as a guy, you have to step aside for the win, and that's all about being a leader. I said, you did your job. You forced them to look at you and focus on you, and those other guys were able to do their job and make plays. And that's all you want out of a leader. And
plus his roommate wasn't the quarterback.
That's true too.
So Emory doesn't have a connection like TVD does, and it was kind of like a blessing in disguise,
Well, I think Dabo in his press conference, he said they throw the ball to number 7 a lot.
Right.
So they were focused on number 7. And out of respect, sometimes I played in some games where guys were able to do their job. I think I only had one catch. Penn State, my senior year. It was, I said, hey, coach, keep running the ball. It's all about being a leader, man. I love wins. And sometimes wins overshadow your own production. And I'm okay with that. Because the party's always better when you win.
What do you think of the way Emory Williams handled himself?
I thought he handled himself well. I mean, he's a freshman. I thought he did well, man. That was for the game plan they put together. He was able to make some throws at the end when they got the one-on-one coverage, and he did some good things. I have no qualms with what he was able to do. I'm excited about the future with him.
Right, I agree, because if I was thinking all season, if this kid doesn't play that much, or if he only plays spot duty, well, he's got this under his belt now. I'm not worried about quarterback next year. I'm just not. I don't care if TVD comes back or not. This kid's got a major upside, and he's smart. And obviously the game plan wasn't for him to throw 40 times, but that's okay. He got his feet wet. And the offensive line, I just talked about how he ran it down Clemson's throat. LT, how many sacks did Clemson have with their vaunted defense? 0. That's pretty damn good.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
LT.
Yes.
Our buddy over here, the voice of the fan, says, I don't care if TVD comes back or not.
I heard that. I was just going to let it go. I was glossing over it.
I only meant that in because of what Emory did. If he wasn't here, I would never say that.
So
hey, man, more bullets in the chamber, baby.
Yeah, well.
The excitement is running rampant. I get it.
I bet you the fans agree with me.
But LT, you're the coach. You're the player. You've been out there at every level of the game.
Mm-hmm.
To my eye, Miami wants TVD to finish this season for sure.
I didn't say I said next year, Gary. Don't mess up my words.
He did say next year.
He did for next season too.
Yeah.
I want Van Dyke to start Saturday. Of course I do. But I said I'm not worried about it. Is what I said. I'm not worried about it.
Christopher Wright said, I need the drugs to Bruce ass.
You don't want to take my stuff.
I love it.
But listen, Emory Williams, the way he played the other night is an amazing success story. He's the nicest kid in the world. His post-game press conference was just absolutely incredible. And he has a very bright future. And we can't say that he's going to be the quarterback of the future for Miami. We don't know who else they're going to recruit. And we don't know that he'll be better or not better than the next guy, whatever. But there's a big difference right now with the way that offense can function with Tyler Van Dyke as the starting quarterback, with his experience, his understanding of the game.
His throwing into double coverage, staring down receivers. Let's be real, Gary. I didn't say he was better now. I think Van Dyke should be playing better, and he hasn't shown it. But I'm not saying he's better than him now. I said I'm not worried about next year. This kid is going to get better and better and better, even if he sits the rest of the season. That's what I believe. And unless and until Van Dyke changes what he's been doing, I don't know. He might. I don't know. I don't know if I really want someone to come back and to have 9 turnovers in 2-game span.
What do you think, LT?
He knows I'm right. He might not say it, but he knows I'm right.
I'm just happy we have 2 quarterbacks, maybe 3. And that's a luxury in today's game. Just ask Alabama. Right now, we have a guy that's I'm reading the comments here about staring down your guy. But it is what it is. Hopefully the game plans continue to get better where we can exploit some of these. The running game has been good especially last game. Mm-hmm. And if we can continue to have a type of running game like that, it opens up things on the outside. So now you can't run a lot of zone coverages. You have to basically keep everybody in the box to make the tackles on the running backs.
Yeah, and I think that what they did against Clemson, I'm not thinking about Virginia yet. I'm going past that. We're going to have to run the ball for about 150 to 200 yards to beat Florida State. We've got to keep that offense off the field, but that's for another day. But that's what I'm thinking. And that's good that we did what we just did, because I think we can do it against them too.
Well,
That offensive line is really good.
I was very happy with what I saw from that offensive line. They were able to move those guys around a little bit. They did a lot of good stuff. They forced Clemson to basically add a guy to the box, and that was the safety. And anytime you add the safety to the box, if he misses, it's big games. It's huge games.
Right. Gary, I have a quick question. Van Dyke is going to play on Saturday. Do you have any idea? I know they don't talk about it. If he's really healthy, or he just says he's going to play.
I think he is. I think he's healthy. I think that whatever it was, it was described to me as a football injury, what he had last week.
It was a knee.
Yeah, I mean, he's compared to Monday to Saturday, he was walking much better. And listen, they want to get him back out there. There's no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, he's made a few mistakes, but he played 80 plays in the game before, and he made 3 mistakes. He had 3 bad plays out of 80. LT, like,
how about the game before that?
Like that's not bad for a quarterback. Three bad plays out of 80. I mean, I know he had the bad interception, but is it realistic to expect a guy to go 80 for 80 in terms of grading out and playing great on 80 plays?
That's, I mean, 3 bad plays. You just hope that those 3 bad plays don't hurt you. That's not a bad grade, but at the same time, if those 3 bad plays hurt you, then
right.
It is.
Right.
If you throw three picks back going the other way, that's
right.
not good. That's not good.
It doesn't matter what the bad plays are.
That's my point, because against Georgia Tech, who had no business being on the field with us, they stayed in the game because of all the mistakes. We should have blown them out, and we didn't. Then you can only he's throwing into double coverage. He's not looking off. And LT said it. He was talking in the tailgate before the game. There was stuff that there was guys in the flat just standing there by themselves. He doesn't go to those check down guys, and he's throwing into double coverage. That has to stop. I don't care what he did 2 years ago or what he's capable of doing. You can't do that anymore. He has enough experience to dump it off or throw the damn ball away, but he's not. And you can't keep doing that.
Right.
It's a different kind of offense with the true freshman in there.
Yep.
It was more ground and pound. A lot of bubble screens.
Make you get everybody in the box.
Yeah. And
throw it to your 6'5" guy, or throw it out there. Let those guys get some blocks, get some plays. Brashard, those guys quick screen. I mean, it was a basic protect your quarterback, your young quarterback offense, and it worked.
And Kobe got open down the field. He didn't make the catch, but that was a perfectly thrown ball.
Yes. And the one that Young dropped, the one that he dropped, that was a beautiful pass. Great play by the defensive back. It was a great. Hey, we won, so right. I'll take the game plan against. Hey, I'd rather walk out of that stadium talking about a bad game plan or a conservative game plan, but a win. That's all I care about.
Well, you can't call it bad because they won.
It wasn't bad. It was conservative.
They won the game, and I got to think to do that had to be driving Shannon Dawson out of his mind, quite honestly, because
look how happy Dennis was.
He's an air raid guy. Shannon Dawson is an air raid guy. He wants to air it out.
Yeah.
All right, our first guest is in the lobby. He's driving, so I guess he hasn't turned on his camera, but I'm going to go ahead and bring him in anyway. Oh, there he is. All right, we got him.
What's going on, guys?
Recognize this guy, the Big Daddy, Vince Wilfork, in the house. Welcome back.
Big Vince.
How you guys?
What's going on?
And I was talking to him on the sidelines just the other day. So good.
Yeah.
Awesome,
well, you can't really even call him Big Vince no more.
No, he lost a lot of weight.
I think we wear the same size shirts now. The guy looks good. I think he's a supermodel now. Huh?
No supermodel. I'm not going to go that route, but it feels good.
Can I tell you the truth, Vince? When I saw you the other day, I said, I don't know if that's him or not. Where's the belly?
I still got a little. That's big. I got a small.
Look good, man. You look good.
Hey, are those 2 Super Bowl trophies behind you?
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
That's awesome, man. A kid from Boynton
Yeah.
Boy.
Born Beach, Florida, man. Born and raised. Floridian.
Now, and you went to St. Lucia's?
Yeah, Santa Lucia's. Back then, it was only a couple schools built. We had Atlantic that was in Delray, the town, the city over. Then we had Santa Lucia's out west and Lake Worth. But nowadays, you have 20 schools in a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
So it was a little different back in those days. But yeah, went to Santa Lucia's. I was a Chiefs. One thing I didn't like, our song was the Seminole song.
Yes.
That was pretty interesting back then, and with me being a knucklehead, I really didn't like that, but it is what it is. But born and raised in Boynton Beach, Florida, man.
So you were a Miami fan back then?
Yeah. I grew up.
Tell us how the whole recruiting process went, man.
Yeah,
why Miami?
It was easy for me because I grew up a Hurricanes fan, so I grew up watching, Warren Sapp and Tez and Russell and all those guys. Knew the history of Jerome Brown and all the great defensive tackles that went there. And plus, I love the color. And it was just when you saw the Hurricanes play, it was just a different group of players. It was like Miami, and it was everybody else, and it seemed like Hurricanes was always on TV. So I used to watch them a lot, And I remember being, I never played freshman, I never played JV. I started every season, every game as a freshman on Boston, So, and in high school I played both ways, and I was recruited very heavily. Every school you possibly can name, recruited me. I mean, even guys that didn't think they had a shot, I was recruited. I mean, I had big bags, and I remember, at first it was exciting, getting my first letters and seeing, the letters from everywhere, Tennessee and Notre Dame with the gold plate. I mean, it was pretty. And, it got to a point where I say, I'm looking for one letter, and I know the color, so anytime I got, letters, I just stuffed them away, I stopped opening them. And my junior year, the start of my junior year, going into that spring, UN broke me, and it was a letter of intent, so I verbally committed then. I didn't take no visits to nowhere but Miami, because I care less about any other school. That was my dream school, so I didn't waste nobody's time. And the rest was history. Best decision I ever made.
Wow. And you in high school, you were a track guy too. You the discus and what else? The shot put?
Yeah, I held the state record. Now, I don't know if it's still standing now. Somebody said they broke it a couple of years ago, but I doubt it. But 68 feet. I was ranked like second nationally.
Wow.
And I got into track and field by mistake because my freshman year, the last game of the season, I got in the football fight, and it was with Jason Gallis.
Jason Gallis. Wow.
Yeah, so he played as one of our rivals, called Spanish River. So
Spanish River, yeah.
Fight with him. And they suspended him. They said, hey, he'll have to sit out next year. So my coach was like, well, what can he do to be not have to sit out? So they was like, well, he can join another sporting event and, do that. So my coach was like, well, just go to track. They have 4 meets a week. Just go to track and sit out a week and we'll be fine. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went to track, and we, at that time, we had some other football players that, was doing some track and field, and one of our offensive linemen, he threw the shot put and discus. And I just went over there and just was playing around with it. And, I picked up the shot put and just chunked in and just playing around. So the coach saw it, and he was like, hey, do that again. So I picked it up, I did it again, scratched his head. He's like, hey, just one more time, but try it like this. I did it. He said, I can make you a state champ if you take this serious. I'm like, man, I said, man, I'm a football player. I said, I don't care about this, man. But at the time he explained to me, he was like, you basically was throwing the same distance as the senior. And I was like, really? So that's how I actually got involved in track and field and throwing the shot put and discus. And I threw my senior year, I threw 68 feet and some change. And like I said, I was ranked nationally. Like I could have I could have went to. I actually could have went to the Olympics the way I was throwing, because I was just that good. Because I trained with Olympic-sized ball, so the Olympic-sized 16, the 16-foot, the 16-pounder and all that stuff. I trained with it, so and I would throw that 60 feet, and it was just. I was just naturally gifted and just understood and learned the technique of throwing a shot put and all that. And I took it, to heart because everything I get into, I want to be the best. And I became a state champ. It was fun. So when I went to UM, I threw the shot put my first year or two, and then it was like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm strictly football now. So, but it was fun time. It was definitely a fun time. And I'm glad I did it.
Now you wrestled also in high school. Did that help you any?
I never wrestled. They tried.
Oh, okay.
They tried. And I was like,
Sure they did.
I'm good because I don't need nobody smaller than me dumping me in my head. I'm okay. I'm straight there. So we didn't go that route, but I used to hang around all those guys.
Yeah.
Just to see different stuff, like what people do. Guys that get that small. Like I hung around a guy that used to box a lot, and I took on boxing. I like boxing. Even to today, I train boxing because I like to see everybody have a specialty, and I respect people profession. I just love to learn, and I just like to learn about the anatomy of the body, how it works, what I can take from a different sport and implement with me and make me a better player. So that's how I've always done it in my career. Just always trying to learn something different, how I can better myself with throughout training,
Vince, what made you so great? If you look back now, I mean, you were a great football player at every level. What made you great?
I think first and foremost, love and the passion. When you have the passion and love for something, you do anything you possibly can to be successful at that. And a lot of people talk about wanting to be great and want to be elite and but they really don't want to put the work in, the more football I played, the more I learned. I thought, being at the University of Miami, being in a gap scheme defense where we getting up the field, I'm making plays and sacks and tackles for loss, and then I get drafted, go to New England, and they tell me I had to do everything opposite now. I got to slow everything down. I got to play backside, and then you got to play two gaps, and as a rookie, I'm like, man, how can I do that? I come from a team that all we do is we hit it and get it, great habit, so, my first 2 years really was kind of a learning curve. And my year 3, that's when I really turned over. And I just started watching film of guys. I started, Ted Washington and
Big Ted,
even Sam Adams and those guys.
Big Timbo. What about Timbo?
All of them, all of them. When I tell you, I just watched film, Casey Hampton. I just sat and I watched all those guys play, and I took something from each one of them because all of them have a different style of play. We always know tackles, but all of us have a different style of play. And I think the one key thing that I really took to heart was I knew not only what I did, but I knew the game beside me, behind me, and offensively. So I can sit down and talk about a quarterback pivot. I can talk about the motions. I can talk about the splits. I can talk about a route tree. I can talk about the run game, the running back 5, 7, and 9 yard. Like all of those was telltales for me. Even with offensive linemen communicating, they give me information. So I studied all of that. I was always trying to find an edge, and the more I watched film, the more the game slowed down for me. And I started understanding what plays I'm supposed to make and what plays that's, I can't make. And then I said to myself, if I can steal one play a game, that'll be huge for me. And I went in every week looking for that one play I could steal. And I stole a lot of plays, and it just came from film study, and sometimes I was wrong and sometimes I was right, but majority of the time I was hitting on a high percentage. If I was a Denver man back then, I'd be pretty good. But it just, I just trusted my instinct and I trusted my film study and what the game see what I believe, because the amount of work and time I put into it, I never went on the field second guessing myself. If I see something, I'm on it, and my teammates love that about me, because even then, you know, I'm a team player. So it's like, if I see something, but it's not my play, but I know it can help my defensive end, I'm telling them, hey, I'm giving you the green light, you go. And I think over time, Bill Belichick we created this bond, a relationship that he trusted me a lot. You know, once I proved to him that I was a student of the game, knew what I was talking about, he trusted me to give me the green light, to basically give other guys green lights, because I was the guy I was a safety valve for everybody. So everybody rushed except for me. You know, I was always the spot, you know. So, but I love seeing my guys make plays. I love seeing the film study and just kind of putting them together, and had a hell of a career. I couldn't have done it without my greatest teammates. You know, I had some amazing teammates. Of course, greatest coach of all time. So a lot of credit go to the guys that I played with and the coaches that coached me and taught me how to two-gap and taught me just all the other stuff that, you know, I never thought of when I was younger. But as, like I said, older I got and started learning more. And even conversations with Tom Brady or the offensive line coach, or talking to my linebackers. And I was always talking to somebody other than a defensive lineman, because I just wanted to know, you know, why you do this. You know, if they did this, what do you think? You know, so it kept us on the same page, you know.
You know, I'm gonna go all the way back, man, to your recruiting process. Obviously, you knew where you was going, but when you got down to Miami, what was that like? Like, what when you finally got down there on that recruiting process, you probably went to the Chart House or Monty Trainers or something and hung out the Grove. What was that like?
I mean, honestly, I can't.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
All I knew it was fun. I knew that. You know, I'm different. You know, I was always different. When I want something, I go get it. And my thing was, I want to be a Hurricane. You know, I don't care about the party. I don't care about that. Now, we did it. We had a good time because we Miami and we was winning, and that's what we do. Mm-hmm. So I did it, but at the same time, that wasn't at the top of my list. Like, I care less about, you know, doing all that stuff. My thing was, hey, I'm coming here and getting going. And I remember watching. They interviewed Ray Lewis one year, and it was, you know, he was talking about the University of Miami. He said, any recruit out there, if you want to be 3 and done, come to the University of Miami. And that stuck with me. So it was like, man, look at, that's what I want. I want to be 3 and I want to be out of here, because I was ready to move on and help my family, you know, get out the gut and all of that stuff. So it was like my mindset was just totally different. You know, I can party the rest of my life if I want to, but what really mattered to me was I wanted to play ball for my mom and dad, you know, for my family, so we can live good. And that's how I've always approached the game.
Vince, I was on the phone yesterday with Tolbert Bain. We were talking about his cousin. It's not his nephew. It's his cousin. His cousin, Reuben Bain. I think after listening to you, I think that kid has a lot of you in him. He's got the same mindset. He doesn't give a damn about parties. He just wants to get better. What's your opinion of what you've seen so far from this young kid?
He's a dog. I mean, he's a dog. When I tell you, he's one of those players that could play back in the days when Miami was, you know, at the top of the top. I mean, hands down. I know he's a freshman, but I don't care about that. You know, right. If I was coach, he would be a captain. Because he leads by example, and everything I've heard about him is off the field, he's even better. That's the type of person that you need leading the ship as a player, because he's showcasing, you know. And the thing about him is he's going to get better and better. Mm-hmm. He's so young still, and I don't even know if he think about it. If he don't think about it, good. Just keep playing and keep grinding. But everything I've heard about him, I love what I hear about him, and he has the right mindset. He has the right mindset to be a Hurricane, to be a football player, especially being defensive line. And I remember one play from last week, and I think he had got a sack. I think it was the first one. I can't remember, but he basically threw the offensive tackle. He threw the offensive tackle. And when I saw that play, I said, it gave me, like, I have chills now, because I'm like, that's the type of play I'm talking about.
Right.
And as a young guy to have it that young, he's going to be special. He's going to be special.
Yeah, I made a comment, but I don't know how proper it was. But I said, could you imagine him in Leonard Taylor's body? He'd be the first pick in the draft. But it doesn't matter. This kid is incredible. And I asked, and then we'll go on something else. I asked Tolbert about this. I said, when did you realize that Ruben was going to be a Cane? Because all last year on CaneSport, he might be going here, might be going there. He went to see Alabama and Nick Saban with whatever. So I asked him, when did you realize he's going to be a Cane? And his answer was at birth. At birth. That's what he said. So you know what? I believe it. He said he's always been around. When he was a teenager, he would go with his cousin and he would take him down to Mark Richt's camp. All this kid ever wanted to do was be a Hurricane. So he's got your mindset. He reminds me of you now.
Mindset. I'm telling you, mindset. I'm telling you, he is. The good thing about him is he's young and he's going to get bigger and stronger and better.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can just tell the way he's built, he's massive legs. I mean, that means nothing but pure power.
Right.
And he's going to grow into those legs. His body's going to mature and puff out even more. He's going to be a really good football player from the style of play and his look. Like, he's going to be put together pretty good.
Yeah, the word that I keep hearing, and it's true, motor. He's got a nonstop motor.
Yes.
And it's got to be effective because this kid is just to watch what he does. Yeah. You know, I went to the practice the week before the spring game, and I kept on saying to everybody, he's in the backfield constantly. How come he's in there? Doesn't make a tackle or a sack. He's disruptive. That kid is disruptive. Right?
He's a playmaker.
He's a playmaker.
And a guy like that, you know, guys should feed off of that. You know, when you see a guy that young doing what he's doing, I'm competitive. So I'm like, you're not going to outdo me. That's just how I'm built. And we're going to compete until the cows come home. And I think that's what we're starting to get back to. That's, you know, just leading by example. It's not a lot of people want to do this, but you don't have to do that all the time.
Right.
Lead by example, and he's doing exactly that. I think we're going to be fine with that guy defensively because I think he's going to bring a lot of guys with him, and they're going to understand, and they're going to hold each other accountable. But they're young; they have to grow into it. That leadership is going to come with growth and experience. And we're going to be sitting back next year and the year after that. I think it's like, okay, the Hurricanes, we back. Now, this is the type of Hurricane football we've been waiting for.
Right. Well, we need a few more like him, but yeah.
I got a question for you, Vince. When did you feel that was you? When did you know that you were that guy?
I knew that was in high school. I knew it since I was a kid. I told my dad the thing is, I played football. My first time ever playing football, I was 4 going on 5 years old. First time I ever played football. And that was the last time I played football until I got to high school because back then it was weight requirements in birth. So 1 year I'll be too big. The next year I'll be too young. So I skipped though. Like every year it was being skipped every year.
So you were the kid that everybody was saying, we got to see his birth certificate.
Yeah, we got to check his birth certificate. They didn't have to see my birth certificate because I never could play. I just played flag. Right. And so I got into basketball. You know, I played basketball. I was a pretty good basketball player. But I knew since I was, when I was yay high, I knew what it was. That's why I never played a freshman. I never played a JV. I started on varsity. I was defensive, like I made plays. I knew I was destined to be a football player. There was no question. I was born to be a football player. And I knew that. But I also knew I had to work. It wasn't just going to be given to me. You know, my love and my passion was it, but I put the work in. You know, but I knew at a young age that this is what I wanted to do, and I was going to be that dude.
So your freshman year, you don't start, but you contribute. And then the next year.
What are you talking, college?
Yes.
Yeah. So my first year I didn't start.
Right.
You know? But I think I had the most playing time still. I only started my last year, my third year.
Dang.
You know, that's because I was a backup. You know, I was playing behind Matt Walters and William Joseph. You know, and I was the third, fourth guy coming in, spelling those guys, giving them a breather. You know, but that never deterred me because I'm competitive, right? I knew I was better than them. Simple. I was better than them. I knew that, but I had seniors in front of me. You know, I had to pay my due. I respected it. I never complained because I knew when I got my opportunity, I was going to show what it is, and I got my opportunity, and I made it happen. So it never. That's I try to tell people all the time. Some people are like, man, I need to start. I need to start 4 years, 3, 4 years. I'm like, no, man. You just got to produce when your number is called. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. If you get one player 50 plays, did you make it count? And that was my mindset. When I'm on the field, I'm going to make it hard for people to judge and try to figure out, now he can't play. Now I'm going to make it very hard for you. I want you to go back and be like, dang, why Vince ain't playing? Or why? Put that on the coaches, not me.
Put it on the coach.
I knew I had a job to do, you know what I mean? And it never stopped. I was the same way in the pros. Like, hey, in order for me to get fired, man, you better come take this, because I'm going to make it very hard for you young bucks. And they tried. Like, they brought in, probably like 6. Over my time there, they brought in about like 6 guys to try to take my position. But it ain't going. I'm a different breed. Because what I'm willing to do for this, too many people ain't willing to do about this. See, I'll die on the field. That's and people will say that, but not for real. Like, that was my love. I would die on the field for what I love. That's just what it is. So if you ain't willing to die, it ain't a chance.
How'd you know that it was time to stop?
Because I started losing interest. The love started slipping away, and the game started changing. So it was a lot of different things starting to happen. And it wasn't the football that I grew up watching. It wasn't the football when I entered the league. It was just different. The conversations in the locker room was different. And I just looked around, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, and then I started thinking about other stuff I want to be doing. So once
I saw you in more commercials.
Yeah, I'm like, once my mind started leaving, and I always said I'll never cheat the game. I would never be one of those players that just stick around and get that check. Like, once I lose that love for the passion of the game, I got to go. I got to give it up, because I gave it my all. And, I played 13, and I knew going into my last year, I knew that was going to be my last one. I knew it, because it's like,
hey Vince, man, let me tell you something. I just got chills, man, because when you're fortunate enough, you're blessed enough to get that opportunity, and just like I was, and I told myself that I was going to walk away from the game when it was about money. I didn't want to be one of those guys that were trying to hang on just to get paid. And I came and worked out for New England. I was on a workout. And in my back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, how much I'm getting paid? And it was at 2 years. And I said, in the middle of the workout, I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I knew I made that promise. And I said, hey, man, if I get this opportunity to play in this league, I'm not going to be one of those guys, just like you said, trying to hang on for money. And people, it tarnishes your legacy, And I said that I wanted to give a young kid an opportunity. I wasn't going to take from another kid, man. And it's refreshing to hear you say that, because people don't realize you have to make that call at some point. And if what you stand on, what you believe in.
Yeah. And that's how it was. It was like, to me, I played football. Like, even, I was not a believer in sitting out of camps and stuff like that counted, even my agent at the time, he was trying to make me sit out going into my last. I said, listen, man, I signed a 6-year deal, and I'm gonna honor that. That's just what it is. I don't keep that. It doesn't. I'm gonna show you that's gonna happen. God, I serve an Almighty high. Like, I'm not worried about that. I'm a football player. I don't go in the game thinking I'm get hurt. Nah, we're not doing that. Like, I'm gonna play football, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And that's how I carried it. Like, I played out my contracts. I didn't sit out year 5, wanting to do. Now I'm not doing that. I played my 6th year, and then we finished it up. Now after that 6th year, I can do it. I'm out. Hey, I'm about the contract. Like, let's get it fixed, But I was never that type of guy, man. I love the game too much. I'm like, even when I tore my Achilles, year 10, it's just, I bet it on myself, and, I scared a couple of people, Bill was he got shook up a little bit, because I had so much confidence in myself that I was going to get back and be okay. But at that time, Achilles, like, it was here and there. So they really didn't have a lot of people worked on with Achilles and trying to see, how they came back. And the people that came back, they wasn't right and all that. I'm like, I'm not them. I'm not them. So, during that time, it was a contract situation. And I'll say, listen here, this is what we'll do, Bill. I say, cut me, free your money up. You can pay whoever you need to pay, but cut me. You don't have to worry about it. And Bill told me, he said, I can't do that. They'll have my neck if you come back the way I think you're going to come back. I say, well, if you think I'm going to come back the way I'm going to come back, why are you playing with me? Basically, what you playing with me for, But it was business, It was business. And we got something worked out and all that stuff, and everything worked out fine. I played 3 more years after that and totally fine. I never once my Achilles hurt me. I didn't have any, nothing negative besides tearing. No pain, like I don't limp. Like even my, only reason I had Achilles surgery is because you just know the history. But if you look at my Achilles, it's the same size as the other one. Like there's nothing. So when I was healing, the doctors they were in shock because they never seen somebody heal the way that I heal. And I was walking in 2.5 weeks. It had the closed up, the wound had closed up and everything, 2.5 weeks. And soon 2.5 weeks hit, I started working on it. I started getting massages and scar tissue. So, I was born a football player, man. Like, I'll take it how it comes. And I love the game. The game repaid me back. So I respected it.
But Vince, you played for the Patriots for 11 years. And you relaying the conversation, it sounds like it wasn't contentious. It went okay. But that was disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's call all these years later. I'll go out on a limb and I'll call it disrespect. Okay, and they let you go, and you go and you play a couple years in Houston, and but you retire, and you decide I want to retire a Patriot after they disrespected you.
But I didn't look at it as disrespect. It's business. I learned early in my career, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, and I had a vet pull me to the side and explain to me. He said, listen, if you was the owner of this team, then you have to pay 80 players. How can you? Once you understand how the business works and what the role is as an owner in a salary cap, I'm good. Once I knew that and learned that, I'm like, okay, I get it. It ain't just about me. Like, trust me, if we had no salary cap and you could spend whatever money you want, nobody would never leave nowhere because they would just give you the money. But when you have a salary cap, you have to stay within that budget. And some people you can't get top dollar. That's just what it is. And in my case, it was like, it was year 11. And I was like, I always wanted to kind of play somewhere else if it didn't work out with New England. And I say, you know what? If I wanted to play somewhere else, where would it be? And I say it'd be Houston. So I'm like, okay. So when it was free agency time, I'm like, okay, cool. I had about 3 or 4 teams call me, but I just wasn't interested in going there. I'm like, right. But Houston was like, hey, listen, come down here. So I went to Houston, never left. But I didn't look at it as disrespect because I understand it's a business. But at the same time, you got to understand, I got 2 Super Bowls. I played in 4 with them. I only missed a playoff once in 13 years.
God.
One time.
And you started every game. Every game.
So it's like my career, how can I be mad at New England that we worked so hard and got these bad boys behind me? Like playing with the greatest coach of all time, playing with the greatest quarterback of all time, some of the best teams that ever was assembled past 2 decades, like you can't compete. So it's like, how can I be bad? I understood the game, and I know
it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal.
No.
And that's the difference.
It's business, baby.
Yeah.
He did the same thing though to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady went and won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. How do you think that?
And Tom also came back and retired the Patriot.
Yeah.
It's business. At the end of the day, it's business. I don't put no personal and emotions in. Like, no, it's business. It was too much blood, sweat, and tears that I put in New England, and that's what built that defense. Like at one point, that defense was mine. They built it around me. So, man, like I cherish all of that stuff, man. The relationships I have from the staff, from the ownership, from my teammates. Like, man, my career, I can't complain about my career. I won't.
No, and maybe your next step, because I was talking about it the other day with a few people, and you know, other guys like Devin and you in the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame, and I think you have a real legitimate shot at getting in. You were awesome for all those years, buddy.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of people ask me about that, and I can truly sit here honest on everything I love. I never once thought about being a Hall of Famer when I played. Like, it really didn't. It's like, whatever. I'm playing the game that I love. That's just how I approached it, you know. And if Hall of Fame comes, it comes, but I'm not one of those guys that need it to solidify who I am in my career. Like, no, people know what it is in my career. They knew, you know, the game. They know, you know. So if it happens, man, it'll be ecstatic. Like, it would be. I mean, that's the top of the top. I mean, and it's the top of the top. There's nothing else to be said about it, you know.
And you played on the team, as LT said before, Gary. You're constantly on television.
Yeah.
And everybody knew it. And you were, other than Brady, you were on the defensive side of the ball. You were the one constant. Other guys came and went, but you were the constant. And so, you know, to get a D tackle in there again, your name's right at the top of the list.
But the thing is, I'm a nose tackle fighting with D tackles. So it's like my stats, you know, I'm honest. My stats don't support it. You know, that's true. What it is. And I get it, like whatever. But
yeah,
I always wanted to say, how are you judging? Like, what is the criteria to be a Hall of Famer? Tell me, like, what is it? That's what I want to know, because it seems like it changes. So
it changes.
Is the criteria? You know, so if that's make me understand that. Now, if it's about stats, okay, you got me. Right. If you're talking about, you know, playmaking and offenses have to change.
You know, because of you.
Come on, and I'm a nose tackle making plays that defensive end and linebackers and all these other guys. Like, I made those plays as a nose tackle. And not only did I make them, I played from the right side all the way to the left side in any one of those positions. So I just need to know what the criteria is, what they look for when they say this guy's a Hall of Famer.
Were you a dominant player at the time you played? The answer is yes.
Yes.
And it's not all about the stats, that's for sure.
We'll see. I'll tell you what, if I do get in, we party. We shouldn't mind that.
I like that. Hey, I want to tell this quick story before you go, man. So I'm riding my bicycle one day. At Manatee Bay Elementary. I see this dude and this young lady, and they're on the sidewalk, and I'm saying, God dang, I'm gonna have to get off the sidewalk because this dude, he ain't small now. So I'm like, God dang, I got to get off, man. Ooh. So I got off the sidewalk, and it was almost, we looked at each other at the same time, and I went, man, this is an LT. It was like, man, what's up, man? I was like, man, you look good. He was like, man, you know, I'm working on my golf shape.
Yeah,
so we started talking, man. It was good to see him, but I won't forget it because I was thinking to myself, man, this big old dude hogging up the sidewalk.
Yeah, but I got to be able to get around that golf ball, baby. I got that stuff. You got to get out of the way, man. I got to keep walking and pumping, man, and make sure that I can get around that golf ball, man.
Well, we still got to get out there and play a little bit, but man, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem,
you're man of your word. You said you were going to do it, and we definitely appreciate having you on the show, man. It's like, shoot, it's having a superstar on this thing, man. So we appreciate it, Big Vince.
Man,
we appreciate
you guys, man.
You still got some of that barbecue sauce somewhere?
Man, look here. I'm always rocking and rolling, baby. That's the next thing that's coming. I'm bringing is my barbecue restaurant. So that's in the works, baby.
Hey, man, I'm in there. Just let me know where, all right?
I got you.
Much love to you, man. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
You better treat him because he ain't paying. All right, I'll call you, Vince.
All right, have a good one now.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right.
Wow.
I wish we could get him around Leonard Taylor for just a few days.
Yeah,
you know,
I keep getting my ass ripped for making these comments about it, but I'm not wrong. You can't play one game and say you're a great player. He's too inconsistent. I'm not picking on him. I'm just using him as an example of, you look at a kid who's 18. Look what he's doing. This kid should be better than that.
Well, at some point, it should become contagious.
Right. It could be rubbing off on him.
And when you see another guy working, I've always said this, you know, even talking to Restrepo, and all those guys, hard work is contagious. You work your ass off, and other guys see you doing it, and they see the numbers, they see the respect, they see all that stuff, and they say, well, shit, I need to start doing that, and that's, at Miami back in the day, we talk about it all the time. Guys used to stay after and run routes and catch balls and quarterbacks, and it wasn't like we were trying to brown those. We were just trying to get better. And when another guy saw that, he was about to walk in and say, oh, hell no, I got to stay out there. I see another guy doing it, and it becomes contagious. That's how you win. The leadership, the hard work, the putting in the time without the coaches telling you to put that time in. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that was a good
interview. Good, but I didn't think he'd be this good. Oh my goodness! And I, from what I keep hearing, and Gary could probably verify this, supposedly next year he's in the inside.
That's not.
It's not.
So he is playing so well on the outside right now that they're not thinking along those lines anymore. There's just as good a chance he stays outside his whole career because he is that dominant and just playing unbelievable football. Unbelievable.
If he has two tackles in the inside of him, he's going to have one-on-one, and that's going to be a mismatch. I don't care. I don't know how many tackles are going to be able to stop him.
I would say that's to be determined, Bruce.
Right.
He's just playing at such a high level on the outside. It'll probably depend on who else they recruit and what their skill sets are, but
they may need him in there if they keep whiffing on these 4 and 5 stars DTs. They may have to.
There you go.
That's another story. But I would say don't panic yet. There's still time.
I don't care where he is, as long as he's on the field.
They got the kid from Alabama who's going to be a decent player.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
You still got the transfer portal coming up. And just like teams are trying to steal their recruits, they're going to try to steal everybody else's recruits too. So that maybe they get one or two of those guys in December when the real recruiting starts. Because here's the thing. You got these big 5-star kids, and you could go hard now, but all you're doing right now in September and October and August is setting the market.
Yeah.
In the world of NIL, the collectives and stuff, the real nitty gritty is going to be in December. In every which way. So I would say
how we finish the season.
Yeah. So I would say don't panic. Don't panic about any of that stuff right now. It's still too early.
I wasn't panicking. I was making a statement.
No, but a lot of people are panicking. I mean,
a lot of people are.
I'm not taking any meds over that. Don't worry about it.
A lot of people though are panicking. All right, LT. Listen, time to do some business here.
Yeah.
Talk about our great sponsors on this show, and let's start out with giving everybody a little glimpse at the new CaneSwear.
Welcome to CaneSwear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSwear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSwear, the spot Miami fans shop.
You see the hats that Lamar's been modeling tonight, and Bruce has a shirt. This CaneSwear store, the new CaneSwear. Whoa. We're equipped for Halloween.
It's a good likeness of you, LT.
It's literally the largest Miami Hurricane store that's ever been created. They have T-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets. They have all sizes for men, women, kids, babies, and they'll even dress up your pet. And, CaneSwear, if you want to go tailgate on Saturday at The Rock, you can stop by CaneSwear. They'll hook you up with tables, chairs, everything you need for your tailgate experience. If you're a fan of the Dolphins, the Panthers, Inter Miami, they got shirts and other hats and stuff for you for those teams. So it's a great time to go get stocked up at CaneSwear. And they're at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. It's the same shopping plaza they've been in for years, just moved a little bit further down because they needed more space to fit all that stuff that you see
all this
behind
stuff.
the bar. You see a lot of stuff behind
the stock room too is bigger.
Yeah, they got a stock room. So 2655 South University Drive in Davie. If you can't get to the store, you can shop them online at caneswear.com. You will not be sorry. Go get loaded up at Caneswear. All right, LT. Man, you said we got to wait another week to find out what former Cane is the brains behind the Florida Beach Bowl. And this is a new bowl game coming to Drive Pink Stadium in December for historically black colleges. Tell us a little bit about Florida Beach Bowl, LT.
South Florida, are you ready for the highly anticipated Florida Beach Bowl scheduled December 13, 2023 at 7:38 at Drive Pink Stadium in the city of Fort Lauderdale? This inaugural event features showcase of historically black college or universities, HBCU, from the SIAC and the CIAA football programs battling it out on the sun-drenched shores of South Florida. This bowl game is all about uniting and showcasing Broward County as a whole. In addition to the main event, the Florida Beach Bowl is hosting a golf tournament, which I'll be at, a 5K run, a community concert, and various special events, all designed to engage and uplift our community. For more information, visit www.floridabeachbowl.com.
You're in this golf tournament, huh, LT?
Oh yeah. You know, we got a couple ringers. I'm gonna get to come in, beat the pros. So I'm gonna get a couple ringers, pro guys come in, and we're gonna beat up on everybody.
December the 8th, the game is on.
Oh, December the 8th. Okay.
On the Bridges,
December 13th.
Springtree Golf Club.
Oh yeah. Don't matter where the golf place
is
is.
the 13th, but the golf is the 8th.
Yes.
It's in Sunrise.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know where it's off
Bridges
University in Pine Island. I know where
8 a.m. early. So it's one of those what we call them dew chasers. So you you can see where the ball's coming from and everything.
Right. If you live in the area, make sure your windows are closed.
Tonight's show is also sponsored by the law firm of Rotson and Faxedomo, LT.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about them.
All right. The law firm of Rotson and Faxedomo is perhaps the most stressful and disconcerting event that can occur in a person's life. You're suddenly facing criminal prosecution. So many fears and questions arise. Whether you've been arrested for driving under influence or indicted in federal court. Few of us are ever prepared for the anxiety or serious potential repercussions that accompany criminal charges. Although many criminal offenses can carry the very real potential for jail time, even less serious crimes can have long-lasting consequences such as loss of job, immigration consequences, felony convictions. At Rotson and Faxedomo, they are a results-oriented defense firm with a focus on specialized client attention. Mickey and Jude are both well-respected, experienced, and aggressive criminal defense lawyers with a reputation for devoting 100% of their skills and talents to each and every case. Their goal is to handle your criminal matter effectively and quickly in each case so that you, the family, can put this whole ordeal behind you and move on with your life. The lawyers at Rotson and Faxedomo pride themselves on understanding that your case is troubling to not only you, but your family as well. So at the end of the day, these two lawyers get it done. Their whole team. And they've been awarded some, in 2014, they were awarded super lawyers for their skills, experience, and passion and dedication, aggressively pursuing the best possible outcomes for their clients. Again, you never know when you need lawyers. Take that phone number down, 305-600-3519. You just never know. We're not saying you need them, but if you do, and especially if you have college students down here in South Florida, they do a hell of a job. Mickey does a hell of a job representing college students for anything because, you know, they're away from home. You know, they might be from New York. So some of you New York people, if you're watching, we got lawyers down here to take care of your kids.
LT, they're looking at that picture of Mickey and they're saying, I want to get arrested.
Hey, you know,
he's married to another lawyer, Stuart Rotson.
As an attorney, I could tell you, I only do family law, but to have people like that representing you, They have the respect from the state attorneys because they're defense and the judges. And it's important to have attorneys that have connections and that they have the respect of the judges. So I agree with you on that. I would call them.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Williamson Cadillac, where LT goes and buys all his cars.
Right.
If you walk in there, just ask for Jermaine Chambers, the former Cane, and he'll hook you up with the best salesmen, the best managers, and get you a great deal on a new Cadillac. Right?
That's right. He's moved up. He's a big timer now. He's working in the finance department. And my guy Jermaine, man, he's a good guy, great receiver out of Homestead. Been there doing it big time work down there for Williamson's, and hell, he might be a GM one day. That's what I'm hoping.
that'd be great. So I was laughing while you're reading that spot.
Don't forget about Las Spadas.
Oh yeah, let's not forget about La Spada that fed you that great ham and cheese sub.
Ham and cheese. Can't forget about them. Next door,
right next door to CaneSport.
Right next door. They're going
so
there.
If you're coming over here to buy some stuff, make sure you stop over there and get a sub while you're on the way to the stadium. If you're not like me and you hit up everybody's tailgate, you don't know anybody tailgating, just go on by the spotters first.
Well, you were there on Saturday, man. At the tailgate.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. I always know when LP tailgates because he doesn't show up in the press box. He knows better. So I was laughing while you were doing those reads because I'm looking in the lobby and our next guest is hanging out. It looks like he's in daylight, so he's got to be out on the West Coast or something. But Sai Tucker, who played tight end for the U back when the U used the tight end, something we're not doing very much this year, but maybe we will in the last 5 games. There he is,
Big Chief. What's going on, baby? Can you hear us?
What happened?
He must not have his sound up.
You got your sound up? Turn your sound up.
He doesn't have his microphone on either.
Hold on. Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Let me hit him up. We can't hear you.
Yeah, you call him and I'll call him.
He must be in California. I recognize
he is in California. He's in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Venice Beach?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where you at.
You got to put on your microphone, Sai.
All right.
We'll
Make
let
sure
him
get him right, Gary. Get him right. I know you will.
We'll let him get that straightened out. Man, he's in Venice Beach. I knew I recognize. You can recognize those trees from that they're California.
Well, that's because you do a lot. You do a lot of traveling, man. You know, I didn't recognize it, but you're world travel, Gary. There's it.
Sai, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There you go.
Hello? There you go. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that.
All right. Big Chief, what's going on, baby?
Hey, why is it nothing much, man? How's it going? Huh?
Why is it so great?
No, hold on. That's why I'm saying. Let me fix that. I'm sorry about that, man. See, that's what was happening. Okay, now can you hear me now?
Yep. It's all good.
Okay, good. Okay, now we're all good. We're all good. Okay, sorry about that.
That's
I didn't
all
realize
good.
you were.
Well, hey, what's up? Okay, it seems like every 5 minutes I'm on Facebook wishing you a happy birthday. How many birthdays a year do you have, man?
Nah, man. It just seems like it's coming more frequently every year. You know, it just seems like every 6 months you're having a birthday as opposed to every 12. How's it going, guys? Good to see everybody, man. You guys look amazing, man. It's good to see all of you.
You look amazing. Looks like you could play. Let's go. We need you out there.
He's living the good life out there.
Man, I get broke up, man. One day, man, them kids will break me up, man, in 2 seconds, man. I'll be in the hospital, torn ACL. I'm good. They're doing okay, though, man. I believe in them, so I trust them. They're getting it done.
All right, Big Chief. You know, I got to ask you this. You coming all the way over here to the University of Miami from Oklahoma. I need to know why, bro. I need to know why.
Okay. I'm about to break it down for you.
All right, break it down to me.
I never really had a chance to share this with anybody, but okay. Growing up in Oklahoma, right? I grew up big Barry Switzer fan, Oklahoma football, long tradition. You know what I mean? That's what Oklahoma prides themselves on is football. I mean, most people know the state of Oklahoma because of football, OU football. So I grew up in all of that. I always wanted to play for OU, right? So all my life, you know, watching Keith Jackson and these guys or whatever, I wanted to be like these guys. Well, in 1985, you know, the Miami Hurricanes showed up the Dome at Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
And they kicked the heck out of they beat their butt. That's the year that, you know, that's the game Jerome Brown broke Troy Aikman's leg.
Correct.
And, you know, he ended up transferring. But, you know, Oklahoma eventually won the championship that year. But, you know, we didn't know that much about Miami at that time. You know, they were still – I remember they won the championship in '83. But, you know, they wasn't like a big team you were hearing about out there in them parts. Well, then the next season, they go to Miami in '86. And that's the year when the bars and then walk out on the field. And Miami just punked the hell out of them. Just punked them. Just punked them. I'm like, these some busters here. I was like, I don't know if I want to go play for these guys. You know what I'm saying? Because they get punked. I don't want to play for no team getting punked like that. So then the next season, '87, national championship. Oklahoma go down there again. 3 games in a row. Every time. Miami much faster. Miami much quicker. Miami just much more everything. Plus, you know, they was able to do their thing. They was celebrating. They was having fun. You know, the coach let them have fun and talk smack. I'm like, shoot, I want that. I want to play in the city. I want to play on grass. So I said, I'm going to Miami. So that's just kind of how it happened. And then I add one more thing, too, to that, Lamar. It was clear at that time, you know, Miami had all the talent. You know, all the guys was going to the NFL. So if you thought you was a these kind of football player, that's where you wanted to go. You know what I mean? Why would you want to go somewhere else if you think you're good? So I wanted to see how I stacked up, how I measured up. So that's why I chose Miami.
So how did that, I mean, how was that recepted? I mean, what happened like in Oklahoma? I mean,
in Oklahoma, well, let me tell you a funny thing about Oklahoma. See, Oklahoma, a lot of times they might sleep on local talent. So they had offered me a scholarship. I could have went to Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. In fact, Oklahoma State said I could play both ways. They were going to let me play DN and tight end. But, I mean, Oklahoma, I don't know, man. They had Barry Switzer had left. They had Gary Gibbs there. It just felt like everything was different, man. So they offered me, man. But, I mean, from the jump, I just was never interested in going there, man. So, you know, I just left.
So you come down on your visit.
Yes.
What was that visit like?
Oh man, that was it. I told the coach. It's funny. I was riding in the car. I said, "Coach, I want to commit right now." He said, "Just hold up, man." I said, "Coach, sign me up right now, man. I want to stay. I want to go. I don't even want to go back."
Was this after you went down 27th Avenue, or was it before you went down?
It was after. I want to go there, man. They get to live the life, man. Not only are they good at football, they get to have a good time at the same time. I mean, why wouldn't you want that? You know what I'm saying? You get to kick butt, take names, talk smack, and you get to have a good time all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And the weather's beautiful. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want that? You know what I mean?
Who was your host? Who's your host?
I was going to ask him that.
Charles Farms.
Oh, okay.
My roommate.
No. I remember seeing him out. I hung out with him for a bit, but I did hang out with Chucky. I remember, rest in peace, Damon Bethel. I hung out with him for a little bit.
The walking Nuke.
I don't remember necessarily, but I do remember Curtis Martin was on that. Me and him was roommates on that trip. Curtis Martin.
Oh.
We stayed down there at Dayland. Yeah, but I can't remember. But I remember, you know, Monty Trainer. You know the way they take all the recruits. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
You knew Curtis Martin. He was quiet, so he wasn't. It wasn't for him.
Yeah, nah. By the time I got back, every time I got back to the room, he was already there asleep.
So I mean, the math adds up that you hung out pretty late.
Yeah, for the most part, I did.
So you get down to Miami.
Okay.
And that recruiting class Sap was in your recruiting class. How many tight ends they bring in that year?
Just me and Sap.
Just you and Sap.
Just me and Sap.
And you like, man, who's this turtle looking? Who's this dude?
Nah, hey, I ain't gonna lie, LT. I was like, damn, he good as
that man was athletic, man.
But you know what? He was good though, because he had, you know, he like you said, he was athletic, he had good hands, he had good footwork. So I was like, damn, he good, but it was good, but because it would have pushed me too, you know what I'm saying? Because I was gonna compete, you know what I mean? So, but then he came over that fall. He was like, Big Chief, it's yours. I'm going over here to this D-line and make this money. He said that. He said, I'm going over to this D-line and make this money. That's what he said. Exactly what he said. I was like, all right, partner, I ain't mad. Go on over there. I said, go on over there. I got this over here. We good over here. Go on over there. I got this.
Hey, man. So you had all these upper class. What do you think of all these guys like myself, man? We were rough on y'all.
I'll be honest with you. I was in awe a little bit, man, because I was like, damn, I mean, when seeing you guys up close, man, and how fast, how quick, how you guys ran to the ball, how everything worked. You know what I'm saying? Just how practice, how competitive it was. You know what I'm saying? Just the competition every day. I mean, every day, you know, you got to bring it, or somebody going to be talking to you and letting you know. You know what I mean? So just that level of accountability, man. And just, you know, obviously I don't have to go into how great the athletes are. I mean, we know how fast, how great they are. But to me, it was just the grind every day that I was so much impressed by, and how everybody held everybody accountable. You know what I mean? How, you know, you got called out if you wasn't doing your job. People call you out. You know what I mean? So I appreciated that. So that was special.
I mean, I just talked about before you came on. I was talking about how guys stayed after practice. It wasn't like it was forced. It was just guys working, man.
Exactly.
Just all working.
Yeah. No, guys wanted to get better, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'll be honest, LT too. By the time I was a senior, man, you can see it was changing though a little bit. To be honest. Yeah. You know, the work ethic. You know, it was like guys was feeling like just because we showed up with a U on our helmet, other teams was just gonna quit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but that's what I remember, man. Just that work ethic, man, and that grind, and just that level of accountability everybody showed.
Right, and it hasn't really changed in the last 20 years. Now that Mario's here, it is changing. It's starting to change, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the hope, man. I'm watching intently, man, but I know it's still early in the process, and you know, as long as you can see improvement on a week by week basis, I mean, you can't be mad at that. But you know, so yeah, I'm pulling for the guys, and you know, I thought that was a great win, you know, Saturday, you know, but with a backup quarterback going in there and doing his thing, so that's a lot to build on.
Yeah, you know. You think back to your days, man. It was a lot of characters. A lot of characters on them teams, man.
Oh,
as you see The Rock do it on TV, and you think to yourself, "Come on, man! He was the most quietest person ever."
Yeah,
I mean, all the characters that you came across, Sap, all these guys, man. That locker room was crazy.
Oh my, come on, man! 36, where we live. I mean, my roommate was James Stewart, Pat Riley. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you had gangster as your roommate
right there. You know what I'm saying? Much love. I talk to him, you know, all the time, still to this day. You know, brotherhood. But yeah, you're right. It was some characters, man. Some characters. You don't meet people like that every day, LT. Even to this day, you don't meet people like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
You remember the first time you ran them 110s?
Woo. Man, listen, put it like this, LT. I remember stretching on the turf for like, I was done.
Hot out there.
I said, man, because you know that heat, you know that humidity. Yeah. I mean, I'm coming. Yeah. I mean, it's hot out there, but the humidity is just something different. So you out there stretching on the turf. It's like what 98, what about 104 with the heat index, and then it's like, man, and then you got to get out and you got everything on. This is when they, you know, you got all the pad helmet. If you stretching with your helmet. And then you got to get out here and run. Oh, man.
Wait. Before that, you just hope you don't get called up in the middle.
That too. That's hoping nobody. Yeah. Nah. You don't want to get called up. You don't want to get called up. But yeah, man.
Those 110s, man, they really brought you together with some people. I mean, because you kind of leaned on each other's teammates.
Yes.
And guys, you felt like you couldn't make it through. A guy was speaking into you, hey, bro, come on, dog, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't pass my freshman year, so I had to get up the next morning and run them. I missed one. I had to run them that next morning before practice.
Ooh,
I only missed one, though. So I had to run 16 that morning before the next two-a-day.
So I bet you went to sleep that night going, man, I got to pass some things tomorrow.
I know it. I'm like, how they expect for me to pass it tomorrow if I couldn't pass it today? I ain't getting no faster. I mean, what do you expect? Nah, but you know how it is, LT. Eventually, you know how to time that thing. You know what I'm saying? Where you could be out all night and still get up and go run 16. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, you saw me.
LT. LT is a couple of days. I got 2 hours of sleep and I'll still run 16 110s.
Wow.
Hey, man. Hey,
LT, I still run 16 110s right now. That's my workout. 16 110s.
Wow. That's
45-second break.
Shape, man. You're in shape. Did you ever see? I don't know if you remember. Did you ever see Lamar in the weight room?
Nah, LT wasn't in the weight room.
Well,
LT wasn't in the weight. I never saw him. I think I might have saw him a couple of times, but not too much. Nah, he wasn't in there. Nah. Only let me see. Nah, LT wasn't in there. He wasn't in there like that.
I mean, to be honest, it wasn't my deal. But I run all day now.
He run all day though. He run all day. I give him that. He run all day. Hell, LT run all day now. Gee. But yeah, not the weights. LT, I think you was the only one that wasn't getting taped too, huh, LT?
Listen, man, I ain't have time to be standing that tape line.
I was like, why he don't have to? I used to wonder why he don't have to tape his ankles.
Hey, that was wasting time, bro. I had things to do. I get there right on. Hey, that tape line was too long.
I know, right? And you got to be there early, huh? Got to be there extra early, man. No, but it was a good time though, LT, man. Like I just want to talk about the guys though, man. But like you were saying, man, the brotherhood, man, it was special though, man. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, you know, it's a bond, man. Because even when I talk to the brothers to this day, man, it's a different kind of conversation, you know.
Wasn't it entirely different when you went to the Panthers? It was just like,
oh man, it was dead.
Like the pros is so different, bro.
Yeah, man. It was cold, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like everybody just kind of scattered at 5 o'clock. It just, you know what I'm saying? And then everybody got their little crews. You got this clique over here. You got this clique over here. And, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it being a new club in Charlotte, North Carolina, you know, you coming from Miami.
Did you get a chance to play in Clemson Stadium? Or did you already?
When I went there, they had already built the new one.
Okay.
Because by year 2, they had that new one. So yeah, everything was running through the stadium in Charlotte by that time. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, we had a good team that year, but we came up short. We was 1 game away from the Super Bowl. So, you know, we went to Green Bay and lost up there. It was freezing, cold as hell, like minus 30. But, you know, we gave it a good shot. We took the Cowboys out.
No, you enjoyed that.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, that was cool. But to your point though, yeah, man, it was much different though, man. Much different locker room, and yeah, you know, and I think that's even why I would even go to like the other cities, like I went to see Derek.
Oh, did we lose him?
He froze.
He froze. Let's see here. Froze.
I'll be able to. Oh, there he. Wait. He's back. He's back.
We got you.
I'm back.
We got you.
I'm back.
We got you. And then what happened?
Hold on. I'm coming back. Hold on. I gotta log back into this thing. Okay, we good. I'm right here.
Look at that LA life, bro. You out in LA now. What's going on,
man? Can you see this?
Where you at? Man, that's beautiful, man. Where you at?
I'm at the beach.
Yeah, he's at the beach.
Wow.
You doing real estate out there, huh?
Yes, sir. Real estate and mortgages, commercial finance.
You sold some of those beach houses out there?
I wish, not yet. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on my first, but I done sold some close enough, but not quite on the beach. You know what I mean?
How'd you end up in California?
Yeah. How'd you end up out there?
You know, after I was done playing, man, I just wanted to go somewhere and just lay low. Nobody knew me, you know what I'm saying? I could just kind of blend in. There was a lot of people here. I could just be anonymous, you know, and the weather was cool. It was kind of like Miami, but not quite Miami, but the weather.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was just a cool place. You know, it's a lot of opportunities out here. So, you know, if you got some hustle in you, you can make your way. You know,
and you definitely had some hustle in you. We know that.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Hey, what's your takeaway from that locker room, man? Back in the day, what's your takeaway from that? Like,
Well, my takeaway is this, LT. What I appreciate the most, my brother, is the fact that even though it was rowdy, because I remember the one time I was disappointed in the locker room, man, was 93, the Sugar Bowl, man, because we was going crazy at that time. What happened? No, it was right before the Sugar Bowl. Now that was crazy.
Oh yeah. No, the people don't even know about that. That was
I ain't
very.
gonna go into that. I ain't gonna go into that.
That was very disappointing, but that also showed when you look back on it, there's no way we could win that game. And,
we couldn't win that game, could we?
No. Not pulled in different directions like we were at that point. So a lot of people don't know that true story. We won't even dwell into it, but
we're gonna let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah.
But but other than that though, before then, man, like I said, man, you appreciated it though, man. Because I said, you had 70, 80 brothers that had your back. Obviously, everybody's gonna have differences and whatever, jealousy here, whatever little drama, what have you. But overall, I put it like this. I was cool with everybody. I never had any enemies necessarily. Even to this day, I'm cool with everybody to this day. If they don't like me, I don't have anything to do with that, but I'm cool with everybody. So I always appreciated it though, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just, like I said, and all of them, see, this is another thing I'm gonna say too, LT. We get a bad rap sometime, whatever they say about Miami, but at the end of the day, from what I recall, all the players were good people, man. They came from good families. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I went to Baraka's funeral this summer. A lot of the guys showed up. They were just good people. You see what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. And I appreciate that. They don't talk about that enough, but I think we had outstanding people on the team too. We did whatever. We were young just like everybody else, and some people made mistakes. But the bottom line, I think at the end of the day, we were genuinely good people.
Wow.
And I appreciate that.
That's well put, man. That's well put. Hey man.
People need to know
Big
that.
Chief, Big Chief, man. We definitely appreciate you taking some time out of your LA life. I know it's
anytime, man.
What's that? 644 over there. So you it's still party time over there.
Yeah,
so
we got a little bit of daylight left. Well, the sun just literally went down. So
like we saw.
Yeah. I'm about to run my daughter to volleyball practice, man, and try to get home and watch this San Antonio basketball game. Dallas.
The kid's playing in his first game tonight. Yeah.
Wemby. That's his name. Wemby. They call him Wemby.
We definitely appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on, man. You gotta let us know when you're coming back down, man.
I'll
we
be
get
down
together.
I'll be down there next month. I'm gonna holler at you, LT. I'll be there.
Okay. All right, brother.
All right, love y'all,
much
man.
love
to you.
Man.
Take care.
Hey,
love to you.
Let me know if you're coming in, okay?
Okay, I will. I'll let you know.
All right, thanks.
All right,
good seeing you.
Take care, guys.
Another
Bruce, you're like the you have to let everybody know, hey, let me know you're coming in so I can make sure I got everything in order for you. That's what I like about Bruce. He might be the voice of the fan, but he is he makes sure everything is right, especially with a lot of those guys coming in from out of town.
Yeah, well, I represented him once too, but it's not for public information.
I think you represent a lot.
I'll tell you what. He's no Mickey though. He was no Mickey for sure.
Yeah, he ain't no Mickey, but
Mickey wasn't around back then.
I don't do high-end criminal work.
But I tell you one thing he does. He knows a lot of judges. Put it that way.
Yeah, and I had to, representing Caesar. I had to know judges in different states.
All right, so just to button this whole thing up here, Bruce, I'll start with you. So they got it done against Clemson, and now they got to avoid a letdown. North Carolina beats Miami and then goes and loses to Virginia, a 1-5 team that had only beaten William and Mary, and so it can happen very quickly and very easily. Your thoughts on what you see coming up this weekend?
I want to see the same effort. And if Van Dyke plays, obviously they're not going to play the same offensive style. They're going to open it up more. But I want to see the same effort, if not even more. The offensive line was incredible. The defense was all over the field. I thought the punter had some bad punts. They kept on hooking him to the left, but he was
doing it on purpose. They couldn't return.
But it looked like they were low line drives.
Yeah, he was doing it on purpose.
Okay, but anyway, I'm excited. I think we've turned the corner. I hope the coaches have learned their lessons. You know, we're sitting here the other day screaming and yelling, move the ball, pass the ball. They know what they're doing. I'm not worried about that. I just want to see the effort again. Then they're on the road at NC State, and then they're in Tallahassee. So you know what? We've got to what? What are you wearing all these hats for, Teddy? What they keep passing them to you?
Well, they're here, man. I'm in CaneSport.
Okay. Well, you didn't change your shirt.
I like this shirt. This is coming home with me.
I just want to see the same effort. I want everybody to play hard, no injuries, cut down on the mistakes, and play a clean game and do what they should do, which is blow this team out. I'm not interested in point spreads. I don't care, but I want to see him play a 4-quarter game. No letdowns, no stupid plays like they had against Georgia Tech or A&M with the block punt and that stuff. Just play a clean game and take care of business and build on what their success has been. Again, we're 5 wins last year. We're 5 already with 5 more to go. So anything we do, unless we lose all of them, is an improvement. And so if we can win these games, play a close game against Florida State, and then finish up, get to 9 wins, which most of us predicted, get to a bowl game, I think it's a hell of a year.
You didn't predict 9 victories. You did not.
I said 9-3 or 10-2.
You got to go back and
not say 9-3. No way.
What's that commercial where you throw the challenge flag?
Hey, we've already won 2 out of the 3 big games. We lost to North Carolina. We beat A&M, right? And we beat Clemson. Yep. I don't think any of you guys predicted. I said 9-3. Maybe 10-2.
You got to throw the challenge flag on that.
Yeah.
I was about to say 7-5, but I didn't see
it in yellow, but I'm throwing it at Lamar.
That's okay, because I'm going to win on the replay. They're going to reverse your crap.
All right, Bruce. Well, I got some good news for you. The Supreme Court just threw out the case against the Hard Rock. They'll be opening the sports book at the Hard Rock soon, and you can take this great wisdom that you have and make money with it. How about that?
Really? Did they throw it out?
Really?
Supreme Court threw it out.
Oh, good. Good.
So
good.
They'll have the green light to restart sports betting at the Hard Rock.
All right. Well, I'll take that bet. I still say if we win these next 2 games, we're going to go 9-3.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
All right, Bruce. Well, we'll see you again next week.
I will. I will see you guys.
All right, Bruce.
I take care of you guys. Be well.
All right, LT. He said something very interesting, and I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
The offense, when Tyler Van Dyke comes back, is going to be much more wide open. That also increases
chance of turnover.
The risk factor, right? So good thing or bad? Like I'm sitting there through the whole game against Clemson saying they are going to lose this game because they're being too conservative. But they won the game. And the running game was great and the whole thing. What style of football, LT, is the right one for this football team?
I'm torn because obviously I like the fact that they ran the ball, okay, because it opened up the passing. I think that's what really won the game for us because they put Clemson was saying, okay, we can't stop the run, so we got to add more people. And Miami's going to run it, so we're going to stop it. And then it was one-on-one out there. He was able to make some throws, get some confidence in his receivers outside, whether it was screens or throwing the ball up. I think that if you're able to have some success running the ball, it should open it up for the pass. And now we can, he's obviously I don't even know if he's more accurate than 17, but he's a guy that's been there before, throwing for a lot of yards. So I put my trust in him. But the thing that opens it all up is you make them go man to man. You make them, because if they're adding guys to the box, if they're not adding guys to the box, that's a zone coverage in some way. That's the danger part of it. But if you're able to run the ball successfully, which I think we should be able to, the offensive line is playing pretty good, then that opens up stuff for the passing game, which now he can hit some. He just has to have confidence in those guys.
Now, you don't have to convince Mario to be run first mindset. Like, that's ingrained in him. He went outside the box in hiring an air raid guy. a guy that's, whole foundation is built on throwing the football and spreading it around. And, but Shannon Dawson seems to have embraced the integration of the power run game into the air raid. And I think he's trying to meld them together into a modern day versatile offense that allows you to win either way. So it's going to be interesting, where this goes from here.
Yeah, you didn't see a lot of 4 receiver sets like you saw in the beginning of the year, in this last game. Week. So there's a happy medium there. I think they can learn something from that. That you go 3 wides or 2 wides and still be able to be productive if you can run the football. And again, if you're able to run the football effectively, that forces the defense to do some things that they might not be comfortable with. Now, you let them sit back there and play zone, then you got problems in the passing game because, hopefully we've seen his progression. He hasn't really looked from one side to the other. I mean, he's kind of thrown where he's looking. But sometimes when you sit on the sideline and you have to watch the game, it makes you a better player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm hoping.
Well, I love what these coaches are doing with their situational rollouts of wrinkles and stuff. Defensively, we saw it with the 3-3 set last week that was very effective. And offensively, I like when they go to that unbalanced line and they bring in Matthew McCoy as an extra blocker. Yeah. That's been very effective so far this year. So these guys are doing some coaching, man. It's nice to see. All right, let's play some word association.
All right, let's go.
Your specialty. We had.
Let me get a new hat for that.
We had Big Vince on tonight. Big Vince Wilfork, who played nose tackle for Miami, unlike anybody other than Warren Sapp. And Leonard Taylor was at nose tackle a lot the other night in that 3-3 set. They changed the defense, and I thought he was massively more effective, LT, than he had been as a straight defensive tackle through most of the year. Let's start with Leonard Taylor.
He made a hell of a play down. I think it was in the red zone where he just threw the offensive lineman out the way. Here it is, a guy who looks like a phenom. And if he continues to play like a phenom, he's going to be unstoppable. So they put him in some situations where he looks better. And if we can continue to put him in situations like that, because we really need him to come around with Bain and the rest of the D linemen, it just makes our defense better. So I like what I saw. He might not be a guy that's going to wow you maybe in practice, but we need him to continue to wow us in the game, and that makes everybody around him better if he plays better.
He seemed to thrive being over center and going one way or the other.
Right. His quickness, he has a lot of quickness, so he was able to use it. And again, he made a big play down on the goal line. It's huge. All
right, Ruben Bain.
Woo. Now you talk about somebody who has it. He has it, and hopefully his work ethic and what he brings to the table becomes contagious to the rest of those guys, because he's playing at a high level. And if you can get Taylor to play and other guys to play at that high level, then we got something pretty good going, because now we don't have to blitz as much, because that's the thing. When we don't blitz, our defensive coordinator has done a great job with his blitz schemes, but when you don't blitz, we give up yards. Now, they showed last game that they can be effective without blitzing. Guys made some plays without the blitz. Obviously, we blitzed some and we made some plays, but when you really are good, if you can get the 3 or 4 man line to make plays without blitzing, it gives you a lot of confidence on the back end. So, but we need those guys to continue to play, and Ruben Bain is undoubtedly well worth all the headache and hassle and all that other stuff where we were like, is he coming or not? And is he coming to Miami? But obviously, like Tolbert Bain said, well, I knew from birth he was coming to Miami.
I wouldn't even want to think about the fact that if he wasn't. All right, let's shift gears to offense. Let's talk about Brashard Smith.
Night and day from we saw him Texas A&M when he had his head between his legs. He was crying. I mean, it was a bad deal, dropped the pass. But that kid, from what I've seen, has really night and day attitude. Grown up. You know, Beard has done an outstanding job getting those guys to play. Actually, that whole receiving room has done an outstanding job. Kudos to those coaches in that receiving room because Cooney, those guys have done a good job of the psyche. And when you have that many guys in there that think they should be playing, it can become a distraction if they're not playing. And they've done a good job of keeping those guys together. Obviously, there's some bullets that are still in the chamber, that are still on the sideline. But those guys that have been out there, that they put out there so far, have done a better than decent job. So,
well, I'll tell you what, the guys that aren't playing. So they know they're not playing.
They know why.
Redding, Latz, and those guys. I don't know that they've gotten off the bench this year, so they're not playing. Got to hold on to the football high and tight. Can't be fumbling. That was that was very fortunate that we recovered that one, but he is massively improved. There's no question about it. Emory Williams, LT.
I mean, hey, the game plan was to keep him out of harm's way. They did a outstanding job. You know, I look back to the TBD, as I talked about earlier, his freshman year, I think it was, where we had the two decisions where, you know, we let the one game where we decided, hey, we're gonna go for the field goal. We dunked it off the end zone. The next game we're gonna throw it. He threw an interception. So they did a good job of taking care of this young man. 1:37 to go on the clock. They played for overtime. They got it to overtime, and we were able to win the ball game. And it was because we didn't make him try to do too much. But kudos to number 4 who bailed him out. You know, he made some hella plays. All the receivers made help, but Kobe Young made some hella plays down the end of the game that you know, here it is, you got your connection.
Yep. All right, now coming back this week, TVD.
I mean, again, I believe that sometimes when you stand on that sideline, you're watching, you can pick up some things. And I'm hoping that, you know, he was able to see some things that, you know, maybe he didn't see before. You know, you know, there's a guy behind you that is capable of winning ball games, and you have to prepare yourself, put a game plan together, whether it's the offensive coordinator or whoever putting that game plan together that he feels comfortable with and that he can go out and execute and make plays. And I think that this is a good game for them to be able to do that.
And lastly, coming off a big win against Clemson, Mario Cristobal.
Well, this is another must win. I mean, this is this game means consistency. You know, you got to win. You got to win the games you're supposed to win. And we didn't do it against Georgia Tech. We lost the North Carolina game, but we beat a Clemson team they were decent, and I think this Clemson team is better than Virginia. So now you got to make sure, like Mac Brown said, you don't eat the poisonous cheese, which they ate against Virginia. So you got to come into this game. You would think those guys would be hungry because, as we well know, you go out and you win this ball game, fans are going to come out. Okay, fans are going to be behind you, but you can't lose a ball game like this because it will just destroy your fan base. And I think Mario understands and knows this. So those guys are going to be ready. The grind is on, as Mario says, at 4:15 a.m. And he is about that life. So I believe in it.
All right, well, we got to thank Vince Wilfork and Sai Tucker for being part of the show. We got to thank CaneSport for once again hosting you and being the lead sponsor of the show. The Florida Beach Bowl coming to Drive Pink Stadium this December. The law firm of Ratson and Thaxadomo. That's for Mickey, if you call them, by the way, where you can get aggressive representation from skilled criminal lawyers. If you get yourself in trouble, you need good representation, they will give it to you. And Williamson Cadillac, of course, for selling cars to Lamar, and La Spada Sub Shop for feeding Lamar. And we thank them all. And LT, another great show tonight. Man, these guys that you played with are unbelievable. I mean, what personalities, I love every minute of all these segments every week. That must have been one hell of a locker room.
Hey, I see what. Well, I was about to say something, but Coach Harrison, boy, woo, he had to deal with a lot.
Yes, he did.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, he did, and it ate him alive, didn't it? It ate him alive. We thank all of you for watching the Lamar Thomas Show again this week, and we'll be back again next Wednesday. So for LT, I'm Gary. Have a great weekend we'll see you at Hard Rock, and then we'll see you back here next Wednesday night.
Go Canes.